Well, good morning. Welcome back to the Broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Friday, October 6th, 2023. And our top story today, how to engage with homeless veterans. Joining me now to discuss this and a lot more, Shara Katstos is the National Education Coordinator for the National Center on Homelessness at the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Shara, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about homelessness among our veterans. And this is, unfortunately, I want to start off by asking you, how pervasive is this among our veteran community? These people served, maybe they served abroad in support of the United States. Maybe they come back here, maybe things haven't necessarily worked out for them. How big of an issue is this?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. Homelessness, we have seen a great decrease, a decline since 2010 at about 55% of a decline in homeless veteran population. We do something called a point in time count once a year, where we have VHA staff along with community providers go out late at night, so between midnight and 5 a.m., and we go and we search for veterans, for homeless folks that we may not have been familiar with, and we do what we call a count. And our last count was in 2022, and the total was 33,129 homeless veterans. So of course we want to work on that, and we want to end veteran homelessness. That we are dedicated as a VA to the mission of ending veteran homelessness. But as of right now, the last count was 33,129 homeless veterans.
Yeah, and obviously 33,129 too many. Is there a particular, in terms of the origin of this, and I guess there could be a plethora of reasons why a veteran may become homeless, but do you have any sense for why these individuals may have chosen to, or maybe not chosen, to be homeless?
Yeah, there was a study by the National Center on Homelessness among veterans, and they looked at that exact question to try to identify what are the factors, what are the risk factors for folks becoming homeless. And what was found is in individuals' situations, it is substance abuse, lack of income, lack of employment, lack of affordable housing is a big issue, lack of supports, family support and otherwise, and also childhood adverse events that may have occurred for that particular person. And then, on a systematic level, particularly right now, affordable housing is very challenging for folks to find. And employment is absolutely a factor, lack of employment and other economic, financial situations.
Yeah, I mean, this is really a tough time, I think, for the general citizenry of the United States. I can only imagine what it's like for those that have served or currently serving. Let's kind of get into some tips. I know you have not you, but the Veterans Administration has a national call center. You want to talk a little bit about that? Because people, maybe they pass a veteran, they identify somebody who looks to be a veteran. How can we as citizens on the street help some of these folks?
So I appreciate the support that you're offering. And we do have what we call a national call center for homeless veterans. And that number is 877-424-3838. And I ask people, family, friends, librarians, veterinarians, to just enter that number into their cell phone in case you ever need it. So if you ever see someone who's homeless, if you don't feel comfortable encountering that veteran, you can call that number, let them know where that particular person is. So if you can provide some detailed whereabouts, they will contact the local VA medical center near that particular address and ask for our homeless outreach staff to go out and visit that person. We may already know that person, we may already be building trust, but if not, they will start to engage. And I just want to add that something that's unique to the VA is that over the last few years, we've added what we call peer support specialists So, along with our clinical social workers that are trained to support veterans out in the community, oftentimes they have a peer support specialist along with them as part of their team. And that peer support specialist is typically a veteran themselves who may have had an experience of homelessness in their own past. So that helps us to truly engage. So, just to go back to your question, really calling that National Center number, identifying where that person is located so that we can get our team out there to support that particular person.
Yeah, and just a last question before we go to a commercial break, because I want to get on some of the other ways people can help. But this is not adversarial. This is not, you're not ratting on someone. This isn't like dialing the crime number, right, that a lot of local police have. I mean, this is really meant to make the VA aware, dispatch the right people, and see if this person needs help, and approach them in a very calm and humble way.
Absolutely. So you're helping us to identify someone that we may not know is out there. Most of the time, our outreach staff, they visit all types of communities and locations, but you're actually helping us to engage that person. In no way will they be in trouble. What we'll do is we'll go out there and try to build that trusting relationship. There's no judgment here. We know everyone has a story. Nobody chooses to be homeless, and we want to support them to get them out of that difficult situation.
Well, Shara, as I said, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about some tips to help you help America's veteran homeless. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network. Well, Shara, thanks so much for staying with us. Really appreciate you hanging around for segment number 2 this morning.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about some more tips. And number 1, obviously, is called the National Center, and that will get people at the VA involved. But another tip is showing humanity and kindness to people that experience homeless. And when we led into the commercial break, you talked about everyone's got their own experience. This doesn't have to be adversarial. You want to talk a little bit about how someone from the outside might approach somebody and try to help them?
Yeah, I mean, if you feel comfortable, you want to make sure that folks feel safe. But if you're feeling comfortable, just showing kindness, humanity, folks that are homeless, they have a name, they have a story. If you feel comfortable and it's a hot day, provide them water. If you notice that they have a pet, oftentimes, you see someone who's homeless and they have a pet. If you have food for the dog or the cat that you could provide, that's always helpful. Try to be judgment free. Try to not have misconceptions. Homelessness is not a choice that people choose to live in that way. And provide them the number. And if they don't have a phone number, offer to call for them.
Yeah, I mean,
that can be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I like that you bring up not being judgmental. And it's oftentimes hard for all of us. And I try to live by the golden rule, but sometimes I Look, I have a bad day too. Ask my wife; she'll tell you I have lots of bad days. But I think being judgment free, Shara, so important. And you talked about the National Call Center. Are there other tools that we can tap into? Like obviously there's the VA website. I know that the VA has a plethora. We've interviewed other folks in the VA. There's a plethora of apps and tools, for lack of a better term, available to veterans. But are there other tools that we should consider and think about when approaching a veteran who may be homeless?
Yeah, I mean, the VA has so many services to offer. We have a lot of resources for homeless veterans. So just know that every VA medical center has what we call a healthcare for homeless veterans team. It's a team comprised of social workers, occupational therapists, peer support specialists that I mentioned. And we have services such as substance abuse services, mental health. We have temporary housing, emergency shelter. We work very closely with the community. Our partnerships with the community are our heart, are really what HCHV Healthcare for Homeless Veterans is all about. So know that you can make that call to the local medical center and reach out to the Healthcare for Homeless Veterans program. And we have folks ready and prepared to support a veteran that you may encounter in the community. I also just want to share that we also have a Veterans Crisis Line number that you can also provide to someone. But if you have a veteran subscriber yourself that's listening, just know that there is a Veterans Crisis Line number, and that number is 988. If you're a veteran, you just press 1. If you're a non-veteran, you can continue, but just know that that's available as well. And if you need support, they'll also connect you with a local medical center.
And I guess my last question is, a lot of people out there watching, look, they want to become more involved. They may want to, they may be willing to volunteer. Does the VA, does this crisis group, homelessness for veterans group, have the ability to take on volunteers? How can someone who wants to do more beyond just making the phone call, connecting the dots, how can they contribute more to obviously helping the people who have stood in front of us against maybe protecting us from our enemies?
Thanks so much for the question. Yes, every medical center has a voluntary service department. So you can meet with voluntary service and actually become a formal volunteer. And you can do that helping the homeless program. You could do that helping our long-term care units, which are more or less like nursing home units. There's a whole array of ways that folks can get involved. We also have what we call a stand down event in the local community, typically annually, where we offer all types of resources and services to homeless veterans. If folks are interested in getting involved in that, they can do that. If you happen to be a landlord and willing to rent to a veteran or an employer, and you have the ability to hire a veteran, that's another way to engage and support the veterans. And, just saying thank you to a veteran that served means a lot to them, whether they're homeless or not. But I know our homeless veterans, it means a lot to them if you ask them their name and you thank them for their service.
Yeah. And oftentimes people who are in distress, if you just offer a hand, it's enough to kind of get them to open up and recognize that someone's trying to help them or a group of people are trying to help them. Sharon, we're going to have to leave it. I'm sorry, go ahead, finish.
I was just going to say, absolutely, right? We're all human. We all have challenging days and we all have stories. Just being there for one another is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially for the people that protect and serve us. Shara, great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Thank you so much. Take care.
That wraps up this episode of BRNAM. Have a topic of interest, somebody you think we should talk to? Well, hey, drop us a line, and don't forget, for all the latest curated news and lifestyle, wellness, finance, tech, so much more all in one place, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Want to search our archives, check out our latest content, and visit our website. We're back again tomorrow with another edition of BRN Weekly. We'll be joined by Jane King to help break down markets, and then we'll be taking a look back at some of our best segments for the week. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the first lifestyle and wellness network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.